We've had a lot of information over the last 2 days. And as Carol mentioned, we really want to hear from you at this point. So while you're processing your thoughts, and we would like you to come up to the podium so we can get it recorded, I will just tell you a few things while you're thinking about it. We're going to send out a survey next week. It's really short, and it's really important to hear back what you think of the conference, because we gleaned so much positive and useful information from the last time we did that. So please, it'll be like 4 questions, super easy. The whole event has been recorded and will be made available to you. It needs some editing and packaging, might take some while, but we'll get that to you. A huge, huge thank you to the speakers and moderators who made the trip, devoted the time, and cared enough to do this. Can we please give a round of applause to these speakers? Carol and I also want to thank the OAI staff, Gary and Demetrius and Terry and Val. They were indispensable in helping us pull this together. Thanks to the Biocene Planning Committee and to our volunteers. Hats off to Craig and his OSV team. They are the only production team in town who can run an event and scoop ice cream at lunch. We have so much appreciation for our sponsors, the Akron Zoo, Baldwin Wallace University, and the University of Akron, which helped us get so many students here. Thank you to them. And thank you to you, the participants. We're always amazed by the breadth of knowledge you bring and the depth of questioning and inquiry and comments. It's always astounding and adds so much to this event. So with that, I want to ask anyone who would like to give some comments, takeaways, whatever. And here comes Chris Bauer. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for putting the mic at the right level for me, Trisha. Yeah. So I've attended all of the Biocenes now, and so I think I'm qualified to give some remarks on how this one went. There were a few things I wrote down that I thought were really really well done this year, and really conducive for cross collaboration and folks talking to each other. And I think that's what this conference is all about, is the ability for people to meet each other and kind of develop working groups. The first conference I went to, I met a researcher that I've been working with ever since. It's about 6-7 years now that we've been working together. Second conference, same thing, another collaborator, and many people in this room I'm collaborating with at this point, and I owe it to the Biocene, and so thank you all the organizers for that. I thought the NASA tour, even though I've been every time, I think this was the first time I did the NASA tour, and that was a lot of fun once that got underway, and a good chance to talk to people on the bus and while you're seeing things. I thought the art exhibit was a great addition this year, and the ability to have some artists kind of talk around their work was a lot of fun as well. I thought it was really cool to see students come in and out on this time, and I think that's a really good thing that we should focus on and time that, where students are getting exposed to the things that they are really most interested in. And then the clustering of speakers was the other thing I wanted to say. I thought that was really, really well done this year, and I applaud the organizers for clustering those things together so we could have topics where we delved into different aspects of each topic. So thanks.
So I was asked to present, and I'm also going to another conference in a few minutes. So I'm Peter Whitehouse. I'm going to say I'm from the intergenerational public schools here in Cleveland. I'm also a professor, but that's the first thing I would start. And it was in the last panel, right? I mean, if we are going to think long term, if we are going to really make a difference in this world, it has to be an intergenerational project. And I am an old white privileged male, and you shouldn't listen to me, so I'm going to sit down. No, I want to say one other thing. The breadth is enormous. I mean, I do not go to conferences at NASA very often, and I don't know about material science, but I come to challenge my mind because it's on the edge of what I do. And I'm a big believer in ecotomes. You go where the edges are. You look at the boundaries. I keep calling myself a transdisciplinarian. So celebrate that. The breadth is great. Let me just make one kind of critical comment in a constructive way. Depth. I do a lot of work on the Anthropocene, the Plantationocene, the Capitalocene, the White Minorocene, whatever you want to call this. But the Biocene deserves more consideration. And Doug, I really loved your talk. And I think putting biomimicry in this broader context of our relationships to nature and our economy's relationship to nature is really, really, really important. And Van, I've really loved your comments because I'm an educator. I really think that this has been a hugely educational meeting. And as my neurons stop firing, I'm a neurologist and figure out where to end. Let me just thank you all for the learning I've personally had from you all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Spector, and my background is actually in architecture, community development, education, and also biomimicry. I had the privilege of training with Carol quite some years ago. So coming to this conference, this is my first Biocene to attend, and when I saw the topic of materials, I was super interested because I really look at materials from the exterior, the interior, the impact on human, kind of collectively. So although a lot of the presentations really pushed my comfort zone, looking at all those math equations and chemistry, and to be honest, some of them just went, it's great, as Peter just said, to be really pushed out of your comfort zone and try to learn more. It was, again, I really commend how the packaging or putting together the different presentations, that with so many different things going on here, that was a lot easier to be able to digest that. It was fascinating and kind of blew my mind. One of the things I just was not expecting was to see one material, melanin, how many different applications, how many different things. To hear about black fungus, which from my viewpoint, we're trying to eliminate black mold. We don't want it. It's unhealthy. Get it away. But then to see, no, it's a wonder child. It does all these wonderful things. So that's kind of like really gets you thinking and being, encouraged to be creative. Really like the aspect of, I think what we saw was interdisciplinary. And that's something that I would encourage everyone who is presenting and working to really grow that in the broadest sense possible, because that's how nature works. That's how our ecosystems are. And we should try to not only look at, from specific, but kind of the methods, the process. And that was something that came up in these last presentations, was really kind of about that process. And I know everyone who works with materials is like, okay, we have these great ideas, we have these wonderful things, how do we get them there? And I think, what we were hearing is a little bit more of this collaboration. One thing I would encourage too is the whole aspect of communication, and how we all learn and how we can have that market transformation is communication. Letting others know. There was a reference to in academia, we're in a vacuum. Like, how do we get that information out? Just like a business, you're thinking about your ultimate user, your stakeholder. So one thing I would love to see, but as a participant, and then also I think it might help us all, is if whatever you're working on, if you can condense that down to one page, simple fact, having that biological inspiration, because that's something that everyone looks at and is like, oh, an animal, an organism, a bacteria, what's that about? It piques your interest. A little bit of what you're doing and a little bit of how it can help. And I would love to see that, just for understanding more and being more transparent in the work that we do. But thank you. It's been great.
Yeah, just real quick, I had a great time at Biocene. It's always great to see familiar faces, and everyone just has such a great passion around this topic area. Just wanted to quickly let everyone know about an opportunity. So I work at NASA, and I lead a team called PEDAL, and our goal is to build software tools to help engineers and scientists and architects do biomimicry. And one of the capabilities we've recently developed is a chat bot called Badara. And I don't have a link, but if you just Google NASA Pedal you'll see a link to request access, and I would love to get more people involved in trying it out and giving us feedback on if it's useful, if it's not useful. So just wanted to make that announcement. Oh, yeah, it's NASA Petal with a T, like the flower petal. So that's how you'd spell it in Google. And yeah, if you want more information, I'll be around at lunchtime.
Thanks.
So yeah, as we get close to wrapping up here, I want to make a few comments. There was a bunch of people that went on tours the other day at NASA Glenn Research Center. You can thank me for ordering really nice weather. It was a beautiful day. We had photographers take pictures of us as we went through the tours. Those pictures are going to be made available to me, but they have to go through a verification process to make sure that they can be released to the public. And once I get those pictures, I will let Trisha know, and we'll let everybody, we'll provide a link to where they can download those pictures and get that information. I expect that we'll have those images available probably sometime next week. In addition to that, we're going to send out a link. We had to skip the exchange store, but there is a link where if you want to order anything, that NASA swag, NASA t-shirts, NASA hats, so forth and so forth, we'll provide the link in that email as well. And I would like everyone right now to give a round of applause to Trisha. I don't know that you know how hard she's worked to put this together. We were in the midst of about having a government shutdown. We didn't know if we were even going to be here. We exchanged a number of emails back and forth, kind of sweating bullets as to what was going to happen. So let's give it up to Trisha. Thank you and have a great day.
I did this down here. Hello, for those of you who I've not met yet, my name is Colleen Unsworth. I just graduated from the Biomimicry PhD fellowship last year at the University of Akron. For those who don't know also, I go by Colin, just as a nickname in case anyone says that and you might get confused. And anyway, so I have been involved with Biocene since I started the fellowship program in 2017. So I've been involved heavily with organizing, attending, and seeing the ins and outs of Biocene. I will echo also that Carol and Trisha, Carol also, wherever you're sitting, have done an incredible job, as well as John, of course. And thank you. And this event has been wonderful. I actually came very last minute. I just started working for the Biomimicry Institute. The joke is that I'm following Sarah McInerney, who is also in the program with me, but anyway, I came very last minute, and I'm grateful to have been able to come and see old faces and new ones. And I just wanted to say I had two thoughts that came out of this year's event. And the first one is on a more technical, pedagogical kind of mindset. One of the things that I've realized talking to different people in different spaces has been, people are inspired by biomimicry. Obviously everyone in this room, but the people we talk to also. But sometimes there's a limitation, there's a barrier to actually doing like an actionable project or translating the research, from the lab to something applicable. And I think that these kind of events, right, with like a huge variety of like people and from different backgrounds, really help give us the resources and the kind of the drive to keep pushing forward in this space. And yeah, beyond just the knowledge base that we can share, also just the drive. And the second thing that leads into is that this group, I've always felt it was just a community of very like passionate people, very compassionate and people who are forward thinking for the planet and also each other. And the last thing I'll say is that my specialty in grad school and in biomimicry is inclusive design. So I really work to make sure that biomimicry is not only accessible to different people, whether that be education or whatnot, but also, you know, the products we're creating, the methodology we're creating, that we think about the widest range of, you know, diversity that we can serve, right? From all aspects. So if anyone's ever wants to talk about that aspect, right, how we can make sure that as we're designing new things and promoting new ideas, that we're doing that in inclusive ways, to try to bring everybody to the table, because that's, I think, when we will like most succeed, right? Nature values diversity. That's what I always say is nature values diversity. So I think biomimicry inherently should also value the diversity of humans. And I think that's a really powerful position, an opportunity that we have. So it was nice to meet you all. And thank you again for letting me say this and hosting me here too. Thank you.
To lead on from Colleen, so I'm Sarah McInerney, the person she's following around. So I finished the PhD program at Akron in 2022 and started working for the Biomimicry Institute. So I'm the program manager for the Ray of Hope Prize, which is their accelerator program. So you heard from Helicoid and Metalmark, who are alumni from 2020. So it's awesome to see kind of the full circle come back around. But I just wanted to make a few small comments, especially those who are chiming in from online. I've been to quite a few conferences over the PhD journey, and this is one that's a tribute to what Carol and Trisha have been able to pull off, is that the audience is very much a part of the conference. And that's rare to find in a lot of academic, industrial settings within conferences. And to do that with integrating art and design and students all in one space is incredibly difficult, but you've been able to pull it off incredibly smoothly throughout the last couple of days, and it's been just a treasure to be able to be involved and be able to host conversations across these disciplines, across different age groups and different motivations and whatever it might be. So for those who are calling in from online, I would encourage you to even, if you're coming from industry or academia or a student, to try and show up next year. It's an incredible opportunity to expand your network, to expand your mind, and get creative and just have fun. So it's been an incredible conference. Thank you very much to both of you for pulling it all together. The one thing I wanted to add, somebody made a comment about like those one-pagers. Be awesome to like get everybody's kind of nuggets down on one. But something to that point of being able to bring everybody together and have the audience be a part of the conference is to have an ask at the end of those one-pagers. Because we have students in the room. So how do we get those younger minds, those creative minds into the scene to be able to actually host those conversations? So not being afraid to stand up and ask questions and try and get people involved. I think that would be awesome. I was a lost student for a long time in zoology and conservation, and then found biomimicry, and I'm now working with startups and talking about venture capital that I have no idea what's going on. So the world of academia and career prognosis is kind of just what you define it. So I invite students and those online to try and show up next year and get involved. And being someone who's put on events, the details. So the amount of work that Trisha and Carol have done down to having gluten-free options, vegetarian options, pumpkins on the table, fresh tablecloths every day. The details in organizing something like this is huge. So maybe we get so lost in the science, we miss those small but really meaningful details. So I just want to thank Carol and Trisha for the sleepless nights, for the very deep, annoying conversations I'm sure you've had over the last couple of weeks. But congratulations, it was an awesome event, and thank you very much.
So I'm Alex Wolf. This is Sujal Parikh. We presented the pattern alphabet in 2018 here. I was super nervous. Came back in 2019, and Vic had put the pattern alphabet into the Petal project, and we were then invited to be a part of the Biomimicry textbook, which Al Hep has given out as a prize. But we wanted to share something that's been very exciting for us, which is that not only are we part of this sort of high-end AI PhD, and Marianne and Kurt Marianne Eggermont and Kurt McNamara have used our work with their engineering students, but that we've played a big role in the getting it to preschoolers. So we just got a grant for $100,000 from the tools competition, and we made an app. So this is kids looking at patterns in nature. And
yeah, and I think, ultimately the thing that this conference was able to do was able to help us connect with all the people that were able to make this happen. So I think this is one of the very unique conferences where you are able to actually really connect in this really unique, interesting space.
And also we have we have one researcher on spatial learning and skills who's on our team for the school project, and they're doing pre-K to 12, which is really great. But one of the other researchers has done a bespoke study on spatial skills and the pattern ABC. 4 to 5-year-olds can see 85% of the natural patterns, so we've included in there. So I just want to let you know that our vision is wired for this. Number one. Number two, pattern recognition is really important for everybody in this room, and for us to convey that to other people, that that's a skill that they have that's always running in their brain. But additionally, that the spatial reasoning, which is how we process what we do with our pattern recognition, is really core to keeping our kids able to do STEM and arts stuff. So especially girls who want to go into STEM, it's really important they have spatial. So we're excited to keep sharing the work that we're doing and to get the little kids in it and to keep it going for K to 12. So I hope you'll stay in touch with us.
Hi there, I'll keep this brief. This is my first Biocene. I am an undergrad student at Baldwin Wallace University, and I just wanted to thank Dr. Ochaya and Baldwin Wallace for allowing me the opportunity to be here, and thank all of you guys for making this such an inclusive, welcoming space for us students. I know a lot of you have mentioned on it, like, we aren't out in the world, so we do lack that confidence at times, and I think it is, like, not only great to hear all these amazing innovations and inspirations here, but it's also just amazing to hear that those of you in the professional world have the same challenges and difficulties that us as students have when we're dealing with these tasks. And it's just really encouraging and empowering, and I feel a lot more confident in my biomedic abilities now. So thank you guys so much.
So I wanted to echo Sammy's words and thanks, and how inclusive this and approachable that this conference makes all our interactions. I couldn't have put what she said better. So I'm just going to say that thank you for having us here. Us students, Young Lions, we're hungry, we're ready. Let's change the world and make sure no one's left behind.
Okay, we did not pay them to say any of that, nor was this supposed to be an accolade for me and Carol. We just wanted to hear what you all had to say. So at the opening, I said that through Biocene, it was our intention to support you in your efforts in bio-inspired innovation, and we hope we've done that. We hope you've learned something, made new connections, found new thought partners, and leave with more questions than you came with, because to us, that's a win. We hope you keep in touch with us and wish you safe travels back to your home biome. So thank you so much. Go have lunch and let's continue the conversation.